Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of What It Takes to Be a Rock Star. I'm your host, Mel, and today we're diving into part two with LG from Thelma and the Sleaze. If you didn't listen to part one, it'd probably make more sense if you listen to part one first. But if not, this is still a cool conversation. We dive into what it's like being a woman in the music industry, and also we talk about drums for a while. So I hope you enjoy it. Please leave a comment, subscribe, do the things, rate it if you like it. Let me know what you're thinking about this podcast because I'm enjoying it, but I hope you are too. All right. Thanks. I wanted to ask, because I know you said basically, since getting this van, you're saving money on renting
Yeah.
vans, right? Like a couple $1,000s a tour. Are you at a point where you're kind of breaking even right now, or barely, or not at all, or are you making a little money when you come home from tour?
My cost of living expenses are very, very small compared to most people.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a really small place where my rent is still cheap. I moved here 5 years ago
Mm-hmm.
because I could not afford to live in Nashville and refused to live in a house with four other adults because I
Mm-hmm.
am an adult and I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I needed to live somewhere where I could actually be a musician. So that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
If I did not do that, there's no way that I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if we got hotels, which we've gotten more recently because I am old and I am tired and I don't have time for your bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but still, most tours we don't. I mean, at the most we get like three or four a tour, maybe
Mm-hmm.
out of like a 27-day tour like we just did.
Mm-hmm.
We're still gonna always try to find somewhere to stay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that helps a lot. I make all of my merch. So whereas most people are paying, you know, $7 or $8 a shirt, I'm paying $3 a shirt to
Mm-hmm.
make my shirts. That also helps.
Mm-hmm.
I have several long-standing relationships with people who make merch. Um, and so that's also very helpful because I'm still getting deals. So like I said, there's a lot of plates being spun in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do pay my bandmates every show. Uh, and that expense, like this next run, I am taking out a fourth person, which is not something I'm super excited about because I have been doing three pieces, and that's really financially where I need to be at because the
Mm-hmm.
fourth person is just but believe me, I'm gonna have that bitch at the fucking merch table showing her stuff.
Oh my
I'm gonna be like, you bring your fine ass back here and we sell these t-shirts.
gosh.
Um, but yeah, no, it's really hard. Um, but I've got a good system in place and I don't s- I don't when I was a little girl, my stepdad set me down on his knee and he showed me his checkbook. And he wrote out a check, and I said, I'm going to show you how to do something. Okay. We're going to write out this check for $100. Now it's due on the 1st, but we're going to mark down on the date the 5th. Okay. And that way, when they go to cash it, they'll say, oh, you can't cash this till the 5th. it's called, it's called kiting checks. And he showed me that at a very young age. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I realized that, um, you know, sometimes it's not about how much money you have, it's about who needs it first. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really important. So I do pay people and I do pay them. Uh, but that's a thing too. You just kind of have to, I never have money too. It's like I've been poor my whole life. So even if I did have, a little cushion or whatever, like I'm never going to think that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, the minute you think you have money is the minute you don't, you know?
Mhm.
So it's just like, yeah, I pretty much anticipate that there's gonna be expenses. Like I have to fly a drummer out for one show. That's stupid. And it's gonna cost me $700. But at
Mhm.
the same time, it I want to play the show,
Mhm.
and not playing the show isn't really an option. And
Mhm.
I know she's going to do a great job, and it's not even going to be a thing to do it.
Mhm.
So there's things like that, stupid shit like that that comes up, or $1,900 in van repairs before I leave, things like that. So it's just, I'm not going to say I break even necessarily, because most tours I don't. It's also
Mhm.
that's why we toured for so long. It's
Mhm.
because if I don't tour for 3 weeks, I'm in the red. I don't
Mhm.
really get into the black until we tour for more than 3 weeks. So this next tour is going to be probably a bust for me money wise.
Mhm.
But I did just do a month, so I do have enough to get the merch, to get on the road, to do what I the fuck to do what I need to do. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's you know you don't owe nobody. I don't owe labels nothing. I don't owe nobody nothing. So that helps.
Mhm.
Everything that is mine is mine. And I bring all my own gear. I use all my own stuff, and it's all, so like I said, people like getting new vans, and that's great. But you got a new vans are more expensive to
Mhm.
fix. You got
Mhm.
a 40 Econoline, you can get shit done on a 40 Econoline. So
Mhm.
it's like for a little bit cheaper than what you would be paying for a new van. So just things you got to think about. I mean, comfort is a luxury, and we're never comfortable. So that
Mhm.
helps. But I don't give per diems. Unfortunately, I'm not in a place where I can do that. But if
Mhm.
the venue doesn't give us food or give us our rider, I do give the girls $10 for dinner. You know, that's all I can do.
Mhm.
So, I mean, yeah, it's all twirling plates.
Mhm.
But I do pay people, and I make it work. But like I said, I wouldn't. People say, "Oh, I want to do what you do." I'll do. Good luck, friend. Good
Mhm.
luck. I'd love to see you try.
Mhm.
Because no one will. No one has ever done it, and no one ever will do it like I've done it.
Mhm.
Maybe that's for the best, but at the same time, I think once people have some perspective to see what I've had to do what I've done, that they might be a little more impressed, because it isn't. We shouldn't be able to do this. Again, women aren't allowed to just show up, be professional, look great, play great songs, and be happy and enjoy themselves and just fucking exude excellence. We're supposed to roll around on the ground in baby doll dresses and flash our vaginas and, um, have smeared mascara and just be all like, that's not what I do. And
Mhm.
we're not really supposed to be able to do that. Why do you think no one's ever heard of Bertha? Why do you think nobody ever had listened to Fanny? It's like because they were just really fucking good. you
Mhm.
know, they showed up and they were just really fucking good. Just like Steely Dan was allowed to just be great. ZZ Top was just allowed to just show up, look sharp, and play loud and look great. It's like
Mhm.
it's just not something that women have ever been allowed to do. And they
Mhm.
can't, because if you did that, the whole axis of what rock and roll has been based on for the last century would have to change.
Mhm.
Women would not be able, our place would not just be as objects or novelty. We would have to be respected for what we've actually done, which you and I know, and most people know now, is invent rock and roll.
Mhm.
We did it. Sister Rosetta Tharpe did invent rock and
Yeah,
roll.
yeah, yeah.
So we both know that, and a lot of other people know that now too. But it's like, we still, people still would rather talk about Chuck Berry, and he filmed people pooping in the bathroom.
What?
Exactly. Sister Rosetta Tharpe showed up in a beautiful gown with a beautiful guitar and just exude excellence and
Mhm.
played her music upright, having a nice time, smiling, teaching people about the Lord, because and that's really the basis of all rock and roll
Mhm.
is is gospel. So Nobody wants to talk about that, but we'll talk about Chuck Berry, who didn't even happen until way later than that. And then also, he had a restaurant in St. Louis or a bar, and he had cameras in the ladies' room so he could watch women poop.
Oh my gosh.
And he had thousands of hours of footage in his home of women pooping, watching women poop in the bathroom.
Oh, why are people so weird?
I don't know if they just don't have all the facts or if they just don't care. But again, women aren't just allowed to be excellent.
Yeah. Have you noticed a difference? Because when I was younger and I used to play shows, I know I've always looked a lot younger than I am too. So I feel like,
Honestly, I think you look like you're 56.
all right, good. You'd be the first person who finally take me seriously in my life.
Eh.
But when I was younger, I remember showing up as like with my best friend. It's also a female musician, and we'd show up to play and people would just roll their eyes and be like, "Oh god, there's like girls here to play." And they'd be like, "This is going to suck." Like they would just say it and it would be all over their faces like this is going to be the worst show ever. And then it got till nowadays where it's like it feels like every band needs a girl or else they're like not really a band, you know?
This is a
And
smoking hot time to be a lady musician.
yeah, but I know you keep bringing up like respect for musicians. Like, do you think that has anything to do with people respecting women musicians or just like they just want something, pretty to look at on stage or whatever? Like, because has it changed for you in your life like over time? Did you ever have that people like rolling their eyes and now they're excited about you coming in the door or, what's your experience?
Well, again, it's not just about for me, it's not just about being a woman in music. For me, it's about being a woman in rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there are people who love rock and roll who will cling to this idea of what rock and roll is, like a baby blanket. Like, oh, we can't let go of it. It's misogyny. It's oh, women are objects. Oh, it's just shredding. It's just technicality. Oh, it's just a means of a toxic masculinity. Oh, like they're clinging to men made it. We did this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it doesn't have anything to do with just being a woman, just playing music. The whole definition of rock and roll has to change.
Mm-hmm.
For it's like, for instance, Brittany Howard is is the closest thing we have now to Prince. Like in a sense of the artistic ability, the vision, the execution, the the masterfulness, the performance. Like this is if in a lot of ways better than Prince because Prince had a lot of bad things that Prince liked to do, but just as fucking to me original and just to me that level of genius. But most people don't think of Bernie Howard as a rock and roll musician.
Mm-hmm.
They
What was
think
the
of
band
her
she was in again? What's that
she was
called?
in a band called Alabama Shakes, but it's like
Yeah, okay.
people want to say she's a soul singer. She's, you know, um, you know, uh all of these things other than just like the greatest rock and roll performer of the last decade, which is what she is. She's a
Mm-hmm.
rock and roll performer and the greatest one I think of the last decade. But it's like people still have such people who listen to Thin Lizzy and listen to Prince and even, appreciate that kind of music, rock and roll music, don't necessarily think about Britney. But it's like that's what it is. That's what it is now. And like it's
Mm-hmm.
incredible. Like soak it up. Listen to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But those are snap judgments, it's all that, people like that, don't like that, like that. That's that. This is this. That's that. Oh, what are the hashtags?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have to think about things. I think that it's a great thing. Like when I see Willow Smith's band, I get so excited.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a great band. This
Mm-hmm.
is this is a this isn't anything to that could ever be related to that question. Is it because they're women or is it because they're great? Listen to the band.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking great. And good for Willow Smith, because guess what Willow Smith is never going to have to deal with in this infancy of her career, because she is great. She's never going to have to deal with a shitty fucking band. Because if we take it back to Janis Joplin, okay, let's go back to Janis Joplin. Janis was very talented, sure, great. If you have to have your Big Mama Thornton fed to you by a white lady from Texas, sure, okay. I'd rather listen to Big Mama Thornton, but fine, okay. She was great. But what Janis couldn't get around was her shitty fucking dudes in her band. And
Mm.
they made her feel like shit. And they made her feel like, well, you wouldn't even be a big deal if you didn't have us as your band. So that's exciting. When I see someone like Willow Smith, who's starting out, making some really good music, hiring an all female band because they're great and probably really fucking chill and really professional, not because they're women and their titties are plopping all over their instruments or they're, bending over and showing their ginges while they play. They're fucking great and they're
Mhm.
professional and they're probably really fucking chill. So that makes me happy for Willow. And it makes me happy for other women who are hiring all female bands for that reason. I think Jenny Lewis is pretty much doing the same thing. Um, because yeah, I think that has been the fallout. Because if you think, let's think of another rock singer who's, had all do bands. You think of Pat Benatar. She's a rock singer. She's a
Mhm.
rock fucking singer and a great rock singer, one of the best rock singers of all time. But she's had her husband in that band with her the whole time. So those dudes that she hires could never fucking talk shit or act like ungrateful or, try to crush her ego because her fucking husband's in the band. He's gonna kick your fucking ass. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so she's had that. I think that's been helpful for her. But yeah, I think in most situations, for me, that's just exciting. That's exciting to see that for an artist and for other artists who are out here trying to actually do shit and get shit done. Because I think as a woman in the industry, and this has been my experience, and I'm sure to this day and for many days to come, it will be the experience of a lot of women. Men, most of the time, their intentions are not very good, and they do in this industry. They do, they do. They're so sensitive, and the masculinity is so toxic, and it's really hard to feel free as an artist and empowered as a woman to be in those kinds of environments and want to and be able to thrive.
Mhm.
So the women that I've seen owning it and playing these shows and doing this shit for the most part um are there because they're insanely talented. They're
Mhm.
bringing so much to the table. And I think a lot of times even I have uh struggled with that, but that's these aren't just themes that are exclusive to genders, because I will say there have been some women that have been really pieces of work that I've worked with,
Mhm.
very weird, but you know but I will say that most of the trauma that I've experienced in this industry on stage or and again, not exclusive to men, but definitely there's been a lot, you know.
Mhm.
Women can be just as awful for sure and sometimes worse. But, you know, I would say on a metric it's exciting because I think there's going to be a lot more women being able to make music freely and be empowered and be able to showcase their excellence because they won't be at the mercy of let's Phil Spectors and Ike Turners and the like.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah, yeah.
mean? I think it's exciting. I want to see more female booking agents. I want to see more female sound people. I want to see more female drummers just because lady drummers are the best.
Eh, it's
Um,
funny when I play. I always have girls coming up to me afterwards and being like, "It's so nice to see a girl drummer." I barely see girl drummers. Like, I didn't realize how much it was gonna be a thing for
Did
people.
you just say go to more shows? Go to more shows.
Yeah, I guess they should just go to more shows. But I didn't expect that at all. Like going joining with Gustav to get that compliment all the time, or like that people noticing that, like, oh, because I don't think like that really. I just always wanted to just be a good musician. I just wanted to be in the same realm as I didn't want to get any like kind of leg up because I was a female musician, or like only get booked because I have, you know, it's a female fronted band. We need one for the show. You know what I mean? Like I've always wanted to just be a musician and that's it.
There's
And like,
people who say that are cheapening your. They cheapen your. They cheapen you. It's
mm-hmm,
just cheap.
mm-hmm,
Do you think that? Do you actually think the reason that we are here performing in front of you and got this gig is because I wear a bikini on stage?
mm-hmm,
I wear a bikini because I'm hot. I don't
mm-hmm,
look like Pamela Anderson up here. You know what I mean? I get really hot. I'm doing a
mm-hmm,
lot of work.
mm-hmm,
And so that's the thing is like my band, we're not up here trying to be sexy. I
mm-hmm,
make my ladies dress professional. I make my ladies wear show clothes. Like get on stage, look, don't be wearing your scrubs.
mm-hmm,
But like we're just women playing rock and roll, and that's
mm-hmm,
sexy. That is not intentional. We're not intentionally trying to pander to the male gaze. We're not intentionally trying to infuse eroticism into our performances. We just naturally do that because we are on stage and we're playing rock and roll and it's sexy music. It just
mm-hmm.
is happening. But for people to think that that's how you get shows or how you do this or that, if you're that stupid, I guess, but it requires so much more effort, and
Yeah.
no one's gonna hire you if you suck.
If you want to look like Pamela Anderson in a bikini, I suggest you check out Sorry Cables. You plug it in, you transform. Just kidding. You will be yourself, but you will sound more awesome. And that's because these cables are made with love. They're made in LA. They are a small business. They're amazing. I use their cables recording this podcast, and I use their cables when I play guitar and when I sing. Go check them out. Sorrycables.com. They're fun colors, fun people. Thank you, Sorry Cables, for sponsoring today's podcast episode. Now we're going to continue the conversation where we chat a little bit about painting because LG has been painting recently. And so we chat about the differences between painting and playing music. So check it out.
That's the thing is like if you're making art, you don't get to choose what people take from that art.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I
Yeah.
like painting, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because you paint something and then it's done
Mm-hmm.
and you sell it and it's gone,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Versus like a song, you have to write the song, you have to play it for your band has to like the song, then you have to play it for a producer has to like the song, then you play it in the studio, it's gotta sound right. Then you gotta put it up on Spotify, everybody's gotta like it on Spotify, then you gotta play it live, everybody's gotta like it live, you know. And then every reason why, and if you are a real songwriter, you're writing from personal experience. So if you went through a breakup or a bitch screwed you over or you had a fucking bad day, then you wrote a song about it. Now you gotta relive that day every fucking time you get on stage and you sing that goddamn song because
Mm-hmm.
you're genuine. But painting, you paint it, you sell the painting, painting's gone. Buy painting. You know, it's great.
Yeah.
I like it. Painting has been really therapeutic for me in the last 6 months. I've really battened down the hatches and tried to get better. And it's been really it's just I love being creative and I love creating and I have a lot of strong visions every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice when I can see those visions and be able to execute them without having to hire people, without having to get in a van and drive for 8 hours, without having to be tired and hungry and put up with some bullshit from some asshole. I could just sit on my porch and have a vision and just sit there with my Dollar Tree paint and be like,
Mm-hmm.
listen to Martha Argerich and just zone out.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, sounds nice.
all I'm saying is I watch a lot of documentaries about these 100-year-old bitches smoking cigarettes out in the middle of the desert. And I wake up every morning and I paint. I paint. And I have a loaf of bread I nibble on, and then I go and I paint and I paint, and I'm 104. And you know, it's like musicians, they're like, I'm 61 and I can barely move, and my fingers don't work no more. And it's like, well, I feel like painting's kind of a better deal, friends, you know?
Yeah.
JoJo O'Keefe painted till she went blind, and then she had someone else hold the brush, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's where it's at. My boyfriend did a couple art shows recently, and we got a glimpse into that whole world. And I was like, "This is amazing!" And then you show up for the reception, you get your stuff on the wall, and then it stays on the wall for like 2 months. So the show's happening while you're not even there. Like
Yeah.
people are still coming to your show for like 2 months, and you don't have to do anything. It's all just sitting there, and
Really,
people are
baby. It's
looking
the
at it.
life. It's the
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
It's like painting is the bee's knees. This music
Mm-hmm.
shit's for the birds, man. You'll be seeing a lot of old rocker chicks playing acoustic shows and painting, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for you and
Fine, man. Like,
it seems like you're on a good kick, like realizing like where your lines are that you're not gonna cross anymore, like the your baseline, what you need for you to get out of the house to go do something, you
yeah,
know, and
yeah.
that's is
If,
good.
if it's not fun, you know what I mean? If I'm not having a good time,
Mhm.
something's got to change because this is
Mhm.
what I love to do.
Mhm.
If it's not fun for me, if I can be on stage and want to break down and cry, which has happened to me a lot in the last 4 months,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? When it's that hard
Mhm.
and the person in the front row smiling, have the best time of their lives, and I'm literally about to burst into tears.
Mhm.
Like there's something really wrong there,
Mhm.
something really off. So I need
Mhm.
to go back to where I started, which was as a little 16-year-old girl with an acoustic guitar who had written 100 songs in high school and just wanted people to hear her songs.
Mhm. That's
That's
one
it.
thing people don't understand a lot is like when you're touring a lot, you're not always nurturing that artistic side of yourself. It's like you're dealing for hours and hours a day, like all this
Well, I just
stuff.
toured with a bass player who, I mean, it would seem like it would be a pretty straightforward thing to do, but like she would be like, we'd be talking to her hot sauce, and I'd be talking, and we'd be like, oh yeah, we wish you could play that song. She'd be like, let's play it. But oh, we didn't rehearse that song. We'll run it during sound check. I can hear. I'll listen to it. You will? Yeah,
Mm.
I can learn it. You want to? Yeah, I could do BGBs on that. Oh, but I mean, you got a lot going on. You sure you want to do that? Yeah, I can do that. Well, let's jam on that. Yeah, let's try that. You know, like a lot of the ladies I tour with, they just aren't that invested in that moment. You know, they
Mhm.
can't be that present that they can
Mhm.
actually, you know, contribute to the experience in a way that is really, uh, fun for me,
Mhm.
enjoyable for me. And so that was like a new thing, and it was really cool. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, okay, cool, because I do get fucking tired of playing the same songs every night.
Yeah, especially when you're playing with different people and
Yeah.
then you have to like send the set in advance so that they could learn it. So that's awesome when someone
Swiss Miss was really on top of her shit. One of the maybe
Mm.
the best bass player I've ever toured with. I'll
Wow.
be honest. I mean, just bass playing abilities, showmanship, and overall you know, professionalism. I mean, if I could find another bitch like that, like, whew, I'd be very happy. She was
Was
really
that
special.
did you post a video just the other day of her and the drummer doing like a little
Oh yeah,
drum and bass thing?
that's the outro jam. That's my cigarette
Yeah.
break. Yeah.
It
But they
was
were still
awesome.
going. They were still going by the time I finished my cigarette. So I went back in and I was like, oh, we're gonna film you bitches, you know, with this
Well,
crowd.
American spirits, they sometimes take a while, so maybe they misshot
Yeah.
the length
No,
of
they
time.
just love it. I mean, and, it's because it is. It's like we do play the same set every night, and I'm not over here. I'm not Chick Corea. This isn't the Return Forever. I'm not Frank Zappa. Like it isn't. If you're a very studious musician with a lot of technical skill, like you want to show your stuff, baby, I'll give you the spot. Like go
Mhm.
for it. You know, that's good for me. That's good
Mhm.
for me too. So I don't have any problem with that. and I enjoy listening to it just as much as the audience, because they really are just vibing and taking it where they need to go, and that's what it is all about. People are in the business of pantomime. I'm
Mhm.
not hiring bitches to be puppets or a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic band. And to me, that is a great, just a sign of a great human who's got their shit together when they can, recognize that what is happening here is special, and your ability to be in that moment and be adaptable and contribute is only going to make that moment
Mhm.
more special.
Mhm.
You get in what you put out, or you get out what you put in. So yeah, it was that tour was really great, and I really needed that because both of those women were just in the moment. They knew what I needed. They respected that. They were professional, and they had great attitudes, and I needed that. It
Mhm.
was the polar opposite of what I had had for a while. So it was uh it was really wonderful, and I'm very grateful to them, and it was restorative, honestly. Um
Good.
and I wanted to be able to do that tour for my fans because the 14 of them that I do have now, I really do give a fuck about, and
Mhm.
have really been wonderful. Um I don't have a lot of fans that I don't like.
Mhm.
I like all my fans for the most
Mhm.
part. So they're usually there for the right reasons. So yeah, like that was really great. And I can't say enough about Hot Sauce and Swiss Miss. They're both fantastic musicians and really professional, very respectful, and very together as human beings that, you know, are, I think, doing it for the right reasons.
Thank you for taking the time today. I know you said you weren't doing much, but I appreciate you talking with me. I really wanted to talk with you because I know the way you make things work is like you said, a lot of plates spinning and a lot of balancing, and like you're
Yeah,
doing it all on your own, mostly, right? You have a
yeah,
booker you work with, but like
yeah,
most of everything is on you, on your shoulders, on your dime. You're just making it all happen.
yeah,
And it's a lot, and but it's very cool to see what you've done with your time, with your energy, with your lifeblood, literally, like with your actual life that you've given,
yeah.
to Thelma and the Sleaze. And, doing music is such a huge sacrifice of basic comforts,
It's a
like
big
you were saying.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
And yeah, you get to live 100 lives, in one
Mm-hmm.
life. It's can be really, really amazing. Um, and yeah, just don't take any bullshit. Something I gotta get better about is getting getting the people who don't have your best interest in mind out. Don't feel like you gotta waste time or energy on those people. Follow your instinct. I got a
Mm-hmm.
real bad time. I got a lot of poor investments in people, and yeah, just be yourself. Don't
Mm-hmm.
do anything that doesn't feel genuine because you will regret it later.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you will regret it later. And don't do that shit just because you think people are gonna like it. Do
Mm-hmm.
shit. 'Cause trust me, most people don't have taste. So if a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people like your shit, it's probably not a compliment.
Well, and you have to live with it too. Like everyone's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, that's so cool. You should do that." And then you make this decision and you have to live with it. You have to live with that song that everybody says that they love, and you're playing in, but you don't have to do that. Like you're saying, like
yeah.
you
You
don't.
don't. You
Uh,
really don't. You can be yourself. It's just gonna be a little bit harder.
mm-hmm.
And, you know, but you can do it. No regrets.
No regrets, and just get good at haggling for cheaper van
Here's the
fixes.
thing. Everybody wants, and tip your mechanics. You know what I mean? Tip
Mm-hmm.
them. If you tip somebody to put coffee in a cup for you, they don't even put the creamer in or the lid on anymore. Tip the person who does your oil changes. Tip those people. That's how you get good van karma.
Mm.
Tip people you don't think about tipping. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
Because honestly, those are probably the people who deserve it the most.
Mhm.
And tip musicians. Don't just buy merch. If you don't need shit, don't buy shit. Just give
Mhm.
me $100 bill. Those
Yeah,
are the best people.
goes a long way.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really does. If you enjoy that show and you've got it to spare and you see that band loading their shit in and out by themselves, fucking trying to find a place to stay, trying to just tip them. There are people who tip me and they know who they are and they're saints because
Mhm.
again, I'm not getting paid anything to do my
Mhm.
job. So when I don't have to if I don't have to sell these shirts, somebody else is gonna buy them. So now you made me done me a favor. You know,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
still got shirts to sell and $100 bill. Dang.
Yeah.
And more women in the music industry, more lady club owners, more lady sound people, more lady promoters, more lady everything. You
Mhm.
know, that's what we need. If I can see it happening more and more, and it makes me so happy.
Mhm. Yeah, I see it too. I see a lot more women sound engineers these days,
Yeah.
and they're super talented. It's
Hmm.
been great. Like every time, my monitor mix usually pretty good.
What do you put in your monitor?
Bass, guitar,
Gotta
and
have bubbles. Bubbles is rock solid, right?
yeah, yeah. Side note here: Bubbles is the bass player of Gustav, which is a band that I play drums in,
You
and a
know why
little
she's
bit of
so good at that, right? You know why she's
uh,
good at just playing doom 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 doom. You know why she's so good at that, right?
why?
She's a cross country runner.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That
She's
makes sense.
used to repetition at long distances, dude.
Mm-hmm.
She
Mm-hmm.
could not think of a better bass player for
Yeah.
that band. She's in the.
Yeah.
She knows how to create that fucking centrifugal fucking movement, man. She's got
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
Every time I see her, I'm like, it just she's running 20 miles today. Look at her. She's
I
in the
know.
zone.
She does that on tour. We'll get like 4 hours of sleep and she'll wake up at like 7 in the morning and run 10
Runners gonna
miles.
run. Runners
Yeah.
gonna run.
Yeah. It's crazy. I pick sleep over, exercising in the
Well,
morning.
you're a drummer, man.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
exercising the whole time. I
Yeah.
played one show last year where I played the drums, and I was just like, you know what? Every front person should have to do one show where they play the drums. And they bring the drums and they set up the drums and then they got to play the drums for an hour. Then they got to unload the drums, pack up the drums, unload the drums. Like every person should do that because it really did. The one time I did it, I probably had a pinched nerve for like 3 months in my fucking shoulder. I was just like, I was just like, in the whole show, I'm just like, oh fuck, everybody's counting on me. Everybody's counting on me. You
You
know, it's
can't
like,
mess up. You can't.
yeah,
You
it's
can't.
like drummers, man. It really gave me a new respect for drummers.
Yeah.
It-
Same. Because before Gustav, I was doing mostly guitar. And then, I started to really think about all the things, I've ever said to drummers that I worked with. And I was like, oh, why did I do that?
Yeah,
Like, you just, or like, even just setting up the drums, it's always this race.
yeah.
I walk into the venue and I start setting up immediately, and everyone's always like, "Why are you doing that immediately?" Like,
Well, and it
and I'm like,
sucks for
"Because
you.
I have to."
Sucks for you after the show because then that makes you the prey. Because everybody else can get their shit off the stage, get off the stage, but you're up there, and I see it, and I feel so bad for drummers because you're trapped. So that creepy dude, he's like, "Hey, what kind of drum? What kind of those
Mhm.
heads? I like those heads. Those sticks are good. You use those sticks. I like the 5B sticks. This, like you guys
Uh-huh.
are great though. Like where do you live? Like
Yeah, yeah.
you
Bunch of
can't run
Yankees.
away. You have to sit there.
Yeah,
Suck.
I've gotten pretty good at like being like. I walk over and then I'm like, I can't talk. I have to pack. And then they're like, oh, okay. Like I get all weird. And they're like, oh, I'm
That's like
sorry.
that's a good route because that's my go-to. I don't want to talk. I hope people don't hear this and they know my secret. But like one of my things is if someone I know is gonna talk my ears creepy, I'll walk up to them, I'll shake their hand with them, I'll be like, "Hey man, nice to see you." Give them a firm pat on the back and just walk past them, and they're like, That energy though, it's the same energy of like, oh, you got it back there.
Yeah, I got it. I got it back. I got it. They're telling us we got to get out of the venue. You know, there's a curfew, hard curfew. I gotta go.
Yeah,
Go say hi. Go say hi to
hard
everybody. Yeah, yeah,
curfew.
yeah.
Oh my god, that's good. I'm gonna tell all my drummers that trick. I hope you don't mind. That's
I don't
really
mind at all.
hot sauce though. She like takes forever to pack up her drums, and I was like, hot sauce, why do you take so damn? Then she was like, this is like my meditation time. Like this
It
is
is like
time
that.
to myself.
Yeah,
You know, it's very methodical, and I just, I'm like, all right, I guess.
yeah. No, I love that part. For me, I feel the same. It's like my me time. It's like the only time no one's bothering me. And when people want to help me pack, I'm always like, no, 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 please don't. Because like I just
Yeah.
love doing it. And there's so much that you need as a drummer. Like if you lose one little wing nut thing, you're like, you can't play the drum set the
No.
next day. You know, it's like your tom will
This has
fall
been a
over.
constant struggle for me because drummers, for whatever reason, think I want them to play on broken drums. Like they'll be like, "Oh, LG, you need this thing. It's been broken for a while, and I didn't." And I'm like, "Why would I want you to play on broken drums? The minute you tell me anything's wrong with these drums, I go right to the music store. I buy you whatever the fuck you need to fix these drums. Like, stop thinking I want you to play with broken snare or a broken throne or a broken kick pedal or whatever. Like, or I
Mhm.
want things rattling around in the fucking toms. Like, just tell me and I'll fix it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But they think I don't know what they think. They think, well, gee, the leg's been kind of wonky for a while. And I didn't want to. Why? Why
Yeah.
didn't you want to tell me?
Yeah. I don't know.
They're just selfless. You're selfless. You're hardworking. You're like, I don't want to make my problems everyone else's, but it's
Yeah.
you
Well,
care.
stopping at a music store is so annoying on the way to like a
Yeah,
load-in. You
yeah,
know, it
it's
is a
true.
big to do,
It is.
but you got to do it.
You
You know,
gotta do it. I
you got to
want the
do it.
drums. I want the drummer to drum, and I
Yeah.
gotta have the right stuff.
Yeah. But part of drumming is fixing your drums mid-set, you know? And I
Yeah,
think drummers just get used to that. That's just what
yeah,
you do. You're just like, oh, yeah, this fell okay. You're like twisting knobs while
yeah,
playing and tuning your drum. But
yeah.
we don't deserve that. We
What
don't
do you
deserve
think about these local bands that want to use their own drums? What do
it.
you think?
Honestly,
Please.
I get it. I think I think it's yeah, I mean if the stage is really small and it's really annoying, I'm like that's annoying. For them if they're opening the show, you know, and
Right.
they want to set up in front, I'm like do what you want to do if that's annoying. But um yes, as a guitar player who now plays a lot of drums, I would not understand that before, but now I'm like, I totally get it. Like because it's like if someone wants you to play a different guitar every day and it's hard. It's like it's you get used to like what your drums feel like. It's your
Yeah.
instrument, you know? And then all of a sudden you have
Yeah.
to play someone's weird beat up drum set with missing everything, you know? And then you have to play like it's a normal day and everything's just broken and sounds weird. Like even, you know, a different every bass drum, like your
Oh,
kick pedal will bounce off weird. And then it's like your rhythm feels kind of weird. And, you know, with your own drum set, it's like you got your heights, everything's easy, you know what it feels like, you know what it sounds like. Um, so I get it and I feel for drummers because it's always like, come on, dudes, like just share your set, like you idiot. You're like, what? I don't want to deal with like your drum set, you know? And it's like, I don't know.
yeah. You know what? You need to talk more like this. Like this is the podcast I want to hear. Drummers talking about drumming. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
it's gonna be
Because
a spin-off for
you've already
sure.
told me two things I needed to hear. And that was the, oh, I gotta get out of here. We gotta load out. It's a curfew. Really like that. And then secondly, like, I guess just because you're smacking stuff doesn't mean it's not an instrument. But yeah, I definitely get mad when people are like, gotta use my own kit.
Yeah, I mean, it's annoying when you're headlining and you have to
Yeah,
move your drum so that the
yeah,
other people can. But honestly, I'm like, I don't even care about that much because that means my drum set's just gonna be set up how I set it up, and it's just gonna be off
yeah.
stage, and I just have to throw it
No,
on.
that's
So,
what think about
yeah,
it. I think that's a good way to look at it. Next time someone's like, I use my rototoms.
yeah, yeah. Well, some drummers are really weird and specific. Like, We played with a band recently that the guy was so specific with drumming that he brought a tape measure to like measure every, you know, height and stuff, which is I honestly I know it sounds crazy, but I totally get it because inches mean like a world of difference with drums. It's really annoying. It's like your frets are in a different spot every day. Like it really makes a difference, and I know it sounds crazy, but it really does. And I've gotten better over the years at
I'm
like
learning
knowing
stuff.
where to
I'm learning
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk with drummers because I love doing that. Yeah, like backstage, I'm always just like the other day I was backstage. I played drums for Tea Eater, and I was talking to the other drummer who played with this band Scorts, and we were just showing each other our stick bags and like all the weird stuff that we have, like our extra little, nuts and bolts and felts and oh, what kind of
Yeah.
sticks do you have? And it was just everyone just kept walking in like rolling their eyes, like, oh, these freaking drummers. But like I don't know, for me it's fun because it's
Yeah.
like this whole world of misunderstood people a lot. Like drummers
Yeah.
are, oh, stupid drummer, forgets everything, like and it's no,
Yeah.
drummers have to be so on point. You can't forget anything every day. You have a
Yeah.
little pocket for everything. You're counting like all your stuff to make sure it's there.
Yeah.
You're in charge of like, a 20-piece thing, you have all this stuff everywhere that you
Yeah.
have to yeah. So, I have a lot of compassion for drummers after doing it for a lot the last like 5 years.
You're opening my eyes. Like this, we gotta have more podcasts like this because seriously, like it's hard. It's hard not to think y'all are goofballs, but yeah.
We're very, very, very serious about our drums. Like you have to
That's
be.
the thing. When I did play that show on the drums, I used my home drums. Like I have a set for Thelma and Sleaze. That's Thelma and the Sleaze's drums. But I also have like my studio kit, which is like just a hodgepodge of things that are duct taped together and like so yeah, the specificness of height and measurement and stuff like I didn't know anything about that. I was just like where the drums where oh god my drums like it was very stressful though.
It is.
It
Yeah.
is extremely stressful and it's like what if I break a stick? I don't have any more sticks, like
Hmm. Yeah. And I feel like I don't know, the more I do it, now I'm crazy. I'm like, I need my specific drum shoes and I have my stick bag right
you
here. And
you put your kick in your monitor?
sometimes now I have to. It's weird. I think I've just like lost hearing and I used to not ever need to do it and I would just rely on the house, bass drum, whatever was in the house, it felt good and loud. And these days it's like I can't hear my kick, I can't feel my kick, so I put it in my monitor sometimes. If
You know
I
they make
can't
a
feel.
vibrating drum stool.
I heard someone told me about that a couple months ago and
I mean,
yeah, I
you already look like you're having a good time on stage, but
To me, it's like a good idea though, because I'm like, uh, it's infuriating when you ask for it in your monitor because it's so subby of a thing. Even when
yeah,
they have it jacked all the way up, you can't even hear it.
yeah, I
You
wanna
can't, and they're
feel it.
like, it's so loud, it's so loud. Are you sure you can't hear it? And I'm like, it's the loudest. My pants are moving, but I can't hear it. It's just like this low note. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm not
No,
gonna go that wild though. I'm not gonna buy the. I heard they're very expensive.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth
Yeah.
every penny. If I yeah. I might not have much trouble keeping drummers around if I get one, They might
They're
be
like,
like,
there's a little extra
I'll
perk.
play with you, LG, no problem. I'll be
Yeah.
there. Yeah, when do you need me? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's great. I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna have the stool, right? Yeah, I got
Yeah.
the stool, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this conversation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Go check out LG's music. It's Thumb and the Sleaze. And check out LG's podcast as well. It's called Queen of Shit Mountain. It's really good. I've listened to a ton of episodes of it. And also, next week, tune in because I'll be talking with Zach from the band Dead Tooth, which is another up and coming band from Brooklyn that I talked to. So please tune in and let me know what you thought of today's episode. All right. Bye bye.